Thanks for joining me for the very first edition of The Director's Cut. My name is Jerry Leonard, and I have here with me actor and future a bunch of stuff, Mr. Landon Griffey. And I said your name right, you noticed that, because I didn't have it right in the credits when you see his name. I must have been thinking about the hot dogs instead of him, because I'm always hungry. So I apologize for that. But this is a new podcast. What we're trying to do here is both talk about film and shine the light on all the different moving parts of a film. I want to get everyone on here, from actors, directors, gaffs, grips. I want everybody to know all the different intricate, beautiful, awesome positions that all form together to make this magic of a movie, because there's so many moving parts. So many people don't get credit. I want to do that. And also we will have some special director's cuts with actual directors that we do movie watch-alongs and do commentary and stuff. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, definitely pay attention to the director's cut. Landon, thanks for being on here with me, buddy.
Thank you for inviting me.
Was this your very first acting experience, or you had a little bit here and there maybe? Or?
I mean, I did drama in high school, just freshman year. But other than that, this was my first
time. So, is that something kind of you always wanted to do? Because basically I put a thing out there requesting actors, and we had met at a store previously, and you sent in the...
Well, my sister, she used to do that actress thing, and I always thought it was pretty cool. I also think it's just really cool to be somebody else.
It's like being a little kid to me. You get to be all these different characters and play. I mean, it's really fun. I highly enjoy it. So the next few jobs acting will be in horror shorts. What the people out there don't know is you're not a big horror buff or aficionado.
I'm not.
But all your first films will be horror short. What's it like acting in a horror short, not really having... You think it might be more an advantage to you because you don't have preconceived notions, or did it make you nervous because you never watched that much? Or
Well, it did make me nervous because I didn't know who my fellow actors and actresses were going to be, and I also wanted to engage in conversations, but I didn't know if they were going to bring up other movies. But it's really cool, behind the scenes, because what makes me scared of horror films is the music and the suspense.
Yeah, the anticipation,
just acting and just having fun with it. It's a lot different than I thought it would be. On
the other side, did you have kind of reservations, like this is going to spook me out, or am I going to have nightmares tonight? Or
well, when you were walking us into the woods, yes.
Yeah, good scene in the woods. I had so much fun shooting that myself. What would you say was your favorite part of shooting Green Eyes?
I guess the table, being here and we're just talking, and even before the camera's rolling, we were just getting to know each other, and there's
forming the relationship.
Forming relationships, and I generally like everybody that I was playing with, and it wasn't just straight business. And we were able to have a little bit of fun and get to know each other.
And that's what this is all about to me, is fun and entertainment. The reason I want to put out this entertainment is for people to have something to watch that maybe forget what they had to put up with at work that day, or a lot of the same escapism and things that I used it for. I want to provide, now I guess now I'm the drug dealer, but horror movies was one of those major things that really helped me escape when I was younger, and doing this filmmaking is a nice escape too. He was talking about how fun it was. We tried to keep it fun on the set and stuff. As far as it's your first time acting, but it's your first time being directed really too. What was it like being directed? Did that make you nervous, or
Yeah, it made me nervous because I didn't want to let anybody down or anything like that. But
same, and let me let you know that I was nervous too as a first-time filmmaker, because I wanted to make y'all proud. I wanted to represent y'all in a positive light. So I was just as nervous for the same thing as you were.
But after probably the first take, I was like, okay, this is cool. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it seemed like at first I think you were more worried about memorizing every line, and all my sets it's looser. I have a path to go and a general direction, which I kind of gave you, and once you kind of got that permission to just talk, then you just started spitting them out perfectly. Little funny story, in the beginning there was a miscommunication, and he actually came in on shooting day thinking he was the Harrison character, and crazier things have happened, I know, but so you literally had to learn your lines on the spot. Did that add any pressure? Or?
It did, just because I was learning Harrison, and I think the mix-up was I have a cousin named Harrison.
It could be.
And so I don't know, I was thought I was Harrison and coming in
and I may have presented it in a way that led you to believe that as well. I'm not always the most articulate when it comes to stuff like that, but I did enjoy that little aspect of it. It kind of tickled me a little bit. I definitely enjoyed it. But now you have a smaller but definitely significant role in the upcoming House of Evil Death House and a couple of future projects that you will take lead and co-lead. Does that make you nervous knowing there'll be more lines, or do you now know, do you think, oh, going, at least I know who I am and I have plenty of time, do you think?
I think
more comfortable you've done one.
I think it'll be a lot more comfortable because we already got the first one done and it looks good. I'm pretty sure I know how to do a little bit more things than just being straight rookie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you did. We've mentioned it I've mentioned it on other interviews, and so it's not just me. Have talked about what a good job you did for your first time. There's definitely always room for improvement, but that doesn't matter if you've been acting 50 years or 1 year. But for it to be your first time, you didn't look nervous. You looked comfortable, and that helped because your character was a aloof guy that the reality of things didn't set in, so not much bothers him until later in the film. Being a part of it and seeing it shot versus seeing the finished product, what was that like for you?
So shooting it, I was like, okay, this is cool. I was very anxious, and I don't know the word, but I was wanting to know how it was gonna all come together, and seeing the final shoot, I liked it a lot.
Good.
All my friends liked it, so.
Yeah, I was super nervous because you just don't know till you see the finished product, right? And there is so many variables with shooting, editing, everything, and I also had some people that I trusted that were way above my league and knew what they were doing give me some good constructive criticism too. So definitely every film's going to be a little better and a little better, like you said, with your acting. Everything's going to be a little better and a little better. But also, I talk about you being a natural and a diamond in the rough. One of the things I did is I gave you a camera. What a lot of people may not know is if you've seen that 2-minute clip that has some of the behind the scenes and the bloopers, he shot all that, just handing him the camera. And the scene where you see him driving and talking to the camera, that's completely ad-lib. He just did that on his own, and it became a pivotal scene in the movie that I think really helped tie a lot of things together that wouldn't have done so. So I guess my question is, what made you decide to do that at the time? Were you still just nervous and trying to...
Yeah, I was definitely nervous. I was just, because we had just finished doing the first scene here and we're driving to the battlefield, and it was kind of like the sun was setting a little bit and we were driving through like the back roads. I'm like, there's been a few movies I've seen where they get the adventure of going and the journey. I was like, this is pretty cool. I might as well just try to record some of it. And I was like, why not just talk in the camera for fun?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be used. I was just like...
That was your best acting. That's probably why you were just... Yeah.
I don't know. I was a little bit nervous, and I was like, I got this cool camera. Why not fuck around for a minute?
Right, yeah. What's the worst could happen, right?
Yeah.
What... Like you said, you had no idea it'd end up being used. What did you think when, I told you, but what did you think when you saw the final product was in there? Was it a surprise kind of when you found out that it was being used, or?
It was. I didn't think so much of what I used on camera was going to be put into it.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'm very glad that there was no singing, because it was not a good song.
Right.
But
I'd have loved it. That had so much texture.
there was it was hard though trying to film and drive at the same time.
Right.
You'll see a motorcycle coming by.
Mm-hmm.
About hit. So
Yeah. So safety is definitely of utmost importance. So I definitely wouldn't recommend that again. We'll set you up a rig or something.
Yes.
Next time to make it more safe, because I only got a few actors right now. If I lose you, man, I don't know how I'm gonna replace you, brother.
Fair enough.
Oh my gosh. We already talked about the Harrison part. Yeah, I know, right? I got my water over here I need to get. So out of all the upcoming projects, we've talked a little bit, what are you most looking forward to in playing? And that includes the script we'll be collaborating on together in the future.
Well, definitely part 2.
And we'll just leave that at that, because we don't want them to know anymore. But stay tuned, because all the original cast will be in the new one, just probably not like how you think, and some maybe how you think. We'll see.
So, and
are you ready for that? You ready to carry the movie? I think you are. You may not think so, but I think you are.
the one we're gonna write together, I'm excited to get that in there, because there's not many movies about it. And,
kind of tell your side of the story a little bit. Tell everybody, you don't have to give like a little summary or something, but just give them a real quick sentence or real short paragraph about what the concept is, because it's your concept. I think you'll tell it better.
So if you've seen, it's the Assassin's Creed one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, sorry, there's a
that's
lot
fine.
going in my mind.
Yeah.
So if you've seen Assassin's Creed, or played Assassin's Creed, the Knights Templar are basically the enemy. And I basically kind of want to reverse that and make the Assassin's Creed the enemy. And just,
Right. And part of the reason you want to do that is why?
It's never been told.
Right.
It's never been done before.
It's one of those things, like you see the Tombstone stuff, and there's two sides to every story, and you've seen like the wide art story, stuff like that, but there's, other than documentaries, there's not been a lot of stuff told from the cowboys' point of view. So I definitely like where that's going. And we talked a little bit about some stuff similar to that anyway in the past. Have you ever written anything, poems, books, short stories, anything? Or
I actually have written a short story back in 5th grade. I lost it, but it was basically this knight and a dragon, and they're best friends, and they're just going around trying to save the kingdom.
Hey, that sounds great. I mean, that's where it starts, right? Is our childhood imagination, and writing is just recapturing that, and it's so much fun. So I think you'll enjoy the process. I know you've never done anything like script writing and stuff, and I'm fairly new at it myself. So I'll do some teaching, we'll do some learning together. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But I think two creative minds such as ourselves, we should come up with something really, really good. So if you're interested in like a mystery type, I don't want to compare it to anything, because I hate that, because then it leads people's expectations. So I don't want to say too much. So we'll just kind of leave it in that. I think for now.
Watch it and make your own decision.
Yeah, watch it. And that is my beautiful wife and co-host of Chronic Conversations, Jen. Say hello, Jen.
Hello, Jen.
She also will be on a future show on this too, to talk about how she came up with Penelope and the WTF news and some of the other things and some of the fun and mess ups we had that day. That was a great day of shooting. But back to this again. Where were we at right before that? I told you I was probably going to lose my train of thought in this. What was we talking about?
We were talking about the short film that we're
going to do and doing together. And going forward past that, is there anything else other than maybe some script writing and acting that you have a desire to do within the filmmaking business? Or is this kind of where you want to focus? I was a screenwriter who didn't have anybody to shoot my stuff, so I had to learn it all myself to do it. That's how I ended up with this, and then fell in love with it. Where do you think you are, and where is it going for you right now?
Well, So I definitely want to learn editing. Back in high school, I had my own YouTube channel.
Nice.
It only had 99 subscribers.
Hey.
But it was Lando Eats. I don't post on there anymore. Just life has gotten in the way, and how to market and get stuff out, because
getting people to subscribe to a YouTube channel is like pulling teeth. Sometimes it's easier to get money from people than it is to just get them to click subscribe or go like a Facebook page. That can be tough. I don't have a billion on any of my YouTube or anything yet, but overall views, you know, I've got thousands and thousands and thousands when you break it down all the places I am. Do you think that this is going to trigger a desire to pursue this even further and further, or are you just kind of hanging out to see what happens? Or
so right now I'm just doing this like as a hobby. Just gonna have fun with it. If it leads into something further, I will definitely explore it.
Right. And that was a question I was to ask. And the first one's kind of like the other one. It's about Green Eyes. Out of all of that, what was the toughest to do or portray? Or
it was really hard to get my lines for David.
Of course, you did have to learn them on day of,
but when we were first shooting, I was trying to just get like word perfect. And
you were focusing on the words, not the acting, yeah.
I was mainly focused on the words, and then we stopped recording. He pulled me aside and was like, "Listen, so if you can get the general of what I'm trying to say, you can say just about whatever you want.
Yeah.
As long as we just get it through."
Right.
And as soon as she said that, I was like, "Okay."
Did that make you feel more comfortable in that moment? So
it did, because the way I talk, it's not proper. Yes, I say bad words. I say bad words a lot. Trying to fix it, but I'm not very proper.
We won't judge you here, so my shows nor my movies are meant for children, so you're good.
So,
but I get you. Yeah, trying to just clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, just even back in school, write my papers. It was not proper at all. But it was just. I guess just the hardest thing was trying to learn the new lines and try to get the word perfect.
So are you a little more comfortable then knowing next time you're going to have a lot more time, well, you'll know your character and you have a lot more time to learn your lines? Because to me, acting it isn't really, I mean, who am I to say? I'm nobody and I've never done anything, but in my little head, in my little opinion, it's one of those things that the acting isn't in the words itself. Like, you memorize the words, of course, but the acting is everything else but the words. We just watched, what was that movie with Nicolas Cage, and he went to like the showbiz place and had to fight the animatronics. Willy's Wonderland?
Willy's Wonderland.
Did he say a word in that whole movie? If he did, it wasn't many.
He did not, I don't think at all.
And did a tremendous job. And that's really what I'm looking for when it comes to my actors is that part of it. Basically, when I act, what I try to do is, because I'm a former pro wrestler, and I call it three-quarter method. Method actor is one of those that's 24 hours a day. You got to call me this, blah, 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 blah. I don't get that far into it. I call it three-quarter method.
Okay.
Because I believe any role you play is going to have a little bit of piece of yourself, and at least a quarter of yourself, 25%. So the other three-quarters method. So you don't want to just... You want to think like that character. You don't want to portray that character. You want to be that character. That is you.
The way you wrote David and his lines, that reminded me a lot of me. Because I'm a big guy. I like food. And who doesn't like boobs?
Yeah.
And I have a sister, and we banter at each other all the time. So that made me a lot more comfortable. Because it was just like me and my sister.
Outside. Well, does that part make you a little bit nervous about the more upcoming roles you have? Because you're in one of them, you're not going to be such a nice guy, and that's completely different from your personality, because you're one of the nicest guys I've met.
So me and my friend Mason, we have this thing. We love each other to death, but we will argue like an old married couple.
Right, yeah.
And sometimes he just pisses me off.
Right.
I try not to be pissed off because, I mean, I do have anger issues, and
Days and times it's hard not to sometimes.
Yeah. But when I have to put it on, I can put it on.
So you can channel that. So there's, and that's what I was talking to you about earlier. Sometimes you have to play roles that maybe even go against the grain of who you are as an individual and your ideology, but remember, you're not playing you, you're that character. Even if you're playing like a Charles Manson or something, obviously you never kill anybody, blah, 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 but you want to get in that mindset. You don't want to get in that might not have, depends on what you've heard. But once you get into that mindset, like I said, I think that's really going to be good too. And I try to do that. Like, I met you and talked to you a little bit, so I'm really quick at picking up vibes and, you know, how people are and personalities and things like that. So when I knew you was going to be in it and I started to write it, that's on my mind. A lot of these are easier. It's easier for me to be like, I'm going to write this person based around this personality, so I take the quarter part out of it and put it in the character as well, than if, say, I just write a script and then I gotta look for somebody to fit into that. Now, at some point in time, we'll do that when we're a bigger production company and things, but for now, I guess I think that's the best way to do it. So what are your ways to prepare for roles now that you've done it once? How do you plan on preparing for the next role other than just memorizing the lines?
Definitely memorizing, but reading it and trying to figure out the context and
Greatness.
Just figure out what he's trying to say and how he's saying it, and then I'll go to my roommates and we'll talk about it and try to run it, and
that's great.
Just
that sounds like a good. Like I said, I don't know anything, so I can't give you advice further than my own little opinions, but that sounds like a great way to do it, and we are all kind of learning together, but we have a great support system around us. We're people who have been doing it, so that's going to help as well. Let me give a shout out to some people really quick before I forget. There's been a lot of people help me and support me along this journey, and there's no way I'll remember all of them. I don't want to offend anybody, so I won't name names, but you know who you are. I've reached out to you and asked you questions, and you've answered. A lot of these people are professional people. They have up and running, you know, full-time production companies, and they're busy, and they got this film shooting that, and they took time for me, and I hope I can pay that back to them in some way. So definitely, I'll be putting out some people that are helping, some people that are going to be on the show. Make sure you try to watch their movies and support them and all their pages and things like that. Now, going forward, do you ever think you may start your own YouTube channel or trying to create your own content, or you content just kind of?
So, I mean, definitely in the future, I would kind of want to do a YouTube channel because I want to start my own business and basically give them an insight of how businesses run and how I function and all that. I don't think many people will watch it, but
if one person watches it and they enjoy it, that's all that matters. That's what I said when I did my very first podcast. It's like there's, you know, sometimes your first one might get 1,000 views and then your next one gets 5. So it's not, don't wrap it up in the people watching, because that's not your worth or your value. It's much higher. But yeah, definitely marketing is very important, and you're in competition because, you know, everybody's got a YouTube channel, everybody's got a podcast. When I first started doing this, there was like 4,000 podcasts. Now there's like 4 million, 4 billion, something like that. It's crazy.
Ever since COVID, I think podcasts have just gone up.
Everybody's a digital creator. Well, this is one more for you to watch. I hope you watch this one and my other one. And before we wrap this up and get out of here, I just want to run down. He played David in Green Eyes. Landon Griffey, he will also be playing in our next several projects, including House of Evil, as I'd said. We have the House Guest coming up, and then we'll also be appearing in Green Eyes 2, which will be a much bigger, bloodier, badass thing than even the first was. I think Green Eyes was a great first step for us, and I thank you so much for giving me your time tonight and for all these projects. and hopefully in the future we can make us some money together. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody you want to shout out or anything you want to say to anybody before we go?
I definitely like to shout out my family because I mean they've been there since the beginning, and definitely my two best friends, Aaron Smalls and Zach Stahl.
Awesome. Shout out to all you guys. Shout out to Not Bad Creations. We appreciate you. K-South Boxing Promotions. We do have a fight coming up at the end of the month. In September, we have a Cannabis Festival. I believe that's it. Is that at Coolidge Park? I think it's at Coolidge Park. If you're in the Chattanooga, tri-state area, make sure you check that out and come down there and say hello to us. If you have cannabis needs and you're in the tri-state area as well, you can find you a Snapdragon at one of 10 locations, and they will hook you up with what you need. I guess that's it, baby. Thank you for always supporting me and being over there, and thank you for the great scene from the. And you watch those. You need to watch the video. And thank you for watching the first. If you made it all the way through this, thank you for making it for the first edition of the director's cut. I hope we made it entertaining for you, and can't wait to see you on the next one, man. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.